morning, guys. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Friday and jumping in with today's live video. Are you expanding in love, or are you contracting in fear? And I think this is something that we can often do very unconsciously, and patterning and conditioning of how we've always been from our personality. And it's such an important one because, particularly with everything that's going on in the world in this current environment, it is so important more than ever before that we are focusing on how to bring more love into our life, how to expand in love and not be living in such a fearful state as well. Good morning. Hey Sandra, lovely to have you on. Hey Christy, big love to you guys. So nice to see you on here. And it's really, when we're acting in fear, at number one, you're going to feel that in your body, guys. Like, you're going to feel tension in your chest. You're going to feel tension in your muscles. You're going to feel this incredible kind of weight, sometimes like on our shoulders. Sometimes it feels like you can't breathe properly. It can be very, very paralyzing in so many ways. Now, I do apologize. My tripod is a little wobbly this morning. I'm just going to try and hold it there so it doesn't wobble so much, but I don't know whether that's going to work or not, but that's okay. I'm going to expand into that. So, when we're contracting fear, often we will give in to the ego survival mind. This is where, like, we might have an idea, or we might have an inspiration, or we might be like, oh my God, like, I'd love to go out and meet new people, or I'd love to have this new experience, or I'd love to try something new. And the ego survival mind says, wait a minute, that's not safe, that's not certain, that's unknown, that's scary. We don't know how that's going to be. We don't know what other people are going to think of it. We don't know if we're going to fail. We don't know if this is going to be okay for us. We don't know. Ultimately, it triggers the survival response. And that is what makes us contract. And so we hold back out of fear. And I've had so many very deep, amazing conversations with so many people this week, and just that realization of how imprisoned we become when every single time we contract in fear. And looking at the human design gates is really, really a beautiful thing to do, because often we can have a lot of splenic fear gates, which are very much about just that impulse of fear of, am I going to be safe? And now that fear is there for a reason. It's there to protect us. It's there to keep us safe. It's there to keep us alive. It's there to stop us jumping off the cliff or from stepping out in front of the car. But when we're living day to day in fear, fear that I'm going to let my partner down, fear that I'm going to let my family down, fear that I'm not enough, fear that I can't do it, fear that I'm going to fail at this particular thing, it becomes so wearying and so paralyzed for our soul. And it's often on the other side of that, when we embrace full courage, we open up our heart center in such a freeing and incredible and amazing way. And myself, even, there were so many times when I wanted to contract in fear, to shut down, to not open up my kinesiology business, out of fear that I wasn't going to be able to feed my girls or provide for them in the way that I wanted, or that other people would laugh at me, or other people would think that I was silly, or other people would be skeptical, or like all of that, which is really, at the end of the day, are just my own judgments on myself. But we fear that that's going to come to us, and that's what we actually attract more of anytime that we're in that state of fear as well. And there's so much inhumaning when we feel that we're not enough. We feel that we can't do whatever it is that we're wanting to do, and that's when we're coming from this fixed if I have to do it perfectly, otherwise I fail, otherwise people will laugh at me, and it shuts down the soul creativity, the fire within us to create, or to experiment, or to be different, or to play, or to try different things. And it's so paralyzing in so many ways. Hey Rochelle, great to have you on, darling. And often it can be one of those things that keeps us very stuck. It keeps us in the limiting life that we're actually living And you know, if you're loving it and you feel amazing and you're feeling great and you know you're feeling in that place of abundance and all of that, well, that's completely fine. What I would challenge you on, or what I would invite you though, is if you know that there is more in you, if you know that there is more to life and you're holding yourself back, if you know, if you're frustrated either around your finances or your relationship or your body, or you know that you could be creating more for yourself, I would invite you to look at where are you allowing fear to permeate through your life? Where are you holding yourself back through the fears of limitation? I don't know how this is going to work out. When we step into courage or courageousness, that start to expand into love, where we start to open our heart center even more. Hey Linda, great to have you on, honey. Thank you. Yes. It is so important, isn't it? It's I'm hoping you guys can hear me, so maybe just let me know if you can't hear me. But maybe you've got to rush off to work or something, Linda. I'm not 100% sure, but have an amazing day anyway, honey. But so important to come back to that place of what would love do, or how would love respond if I was fully living into the expansion of love, if I was fully living my life from a place of love, not fear. What would be different? What would I do if I felt fully supported through divine love or through divine creation? If I knew that anything was possible for me, what would I actually do? Because often we have these burning desires, we have these whispers within our soul, and we ignore them, and we not now, or I can't do it. And when we experience enough emotional dissonance in terms of I want this thing but I feel like I can't have it, or I can't create it, or what if I fail, or what if other people laugh at me, or all those things, when we create enough emotional dissonance or cognitive, we end up just going, oh no, that's too hard, and we cut ourselves off from that dream. Now that dream is still alive in us, but we've cut ourselves off from that. And often as we reach midlife, we hear those yearnings, we hear those whisperings from our soul even deeper. And life begins to present us with many different challenges to waken us, to shake us, to rock us to our core foundation, to step in, become the person who we know that we can be. And I truly believe we all know at a deep core level that we are here for something more. We are here, we're born for a unique and vital purpose in the world, and we form the unique tapestry of who we are and who we're becoming and who we're stepping into in ways. And it's when we can fully embrace that and explore that and navigate that. Now, two of the biggest reasons, there's quite a few actually, but two of the biggest reasons why we hold back or why we question as to whether we can actually do this is we question our value, or we question our worthiness. Could I really have that? Is that really, am I really deserving of this great life? Am I really deserving of all that is? And we also question our lovability. But what if this upsets others? But what if this lets other people down? But what if I'm not lovable at the end? If I'm not enough? It's the not enoughness where scarcity, lack, and poverty literally just scar our mind. And often we're imprinted and conditioned in this particular way from childhood, remembering that, in the last couple of generations, my beautiful grandfather and grandmother are both still alive, and my grandfather celebrated his 95th birthday the other day, and I was just thinking about the thing that he's experienced in his life. He was born in 1925. He went through the Great Depression. He went through World War II. He's experienced so much, and all of that imprinting and conditioning, and that's only 2 generations from where we've still got so much of that within our psyche and within our cellular DNA that comes through in our encoding, and it's not safe. And we're really going through such a huge shift, such a world changing way at the moment, and everybody, you know, is feeling that in so many different varying degrees as well. And we can either get caught up and the contraction that's actually happening of, oh my God, I need to shut down, or I need to withdraw, or there's so much pain and suffering in the world. Because basically what I truly feel, and what I guess many people are speaking about as well, good morning beautiful Sal, lovely to have you on here, what many people are experiencing in the world is, you know, everything that needs to be healed is so confronting right now. It is so in our face. It is so evident. It is so, you know, just literally shoved, so we can't ignore it. So that which needs to be healed, that which needs light and love brought to it and looked at and evaluated to be able to and ascend into greater love in humanity as a whole, as a global, from a global perspective. And when we fight or we project upon others our own beliefs, our own structure of how we believe things should be from that judgmental, ego, critical mind, and we find it's like I was saying on a video the other day in my Inner Circle Mastermind, and I felt deeply called to share this, and it really felt like it was kind of going through me rather than from me. And it's really, you know, if we take that to a macro level of the body, that's like your cells fighting each other. That's autoimmunity. That's like the body attacking the body, or the body attacking other parts of the body. And honestly, that's cancer. When we're raging against each other, or the body is attacking the other part of the body, then that is literally what's going on from a global perspective. And it's all the righteousness, it's the judgment of, I know the best way to live. Now, a liver cell has a very different function than a brain cell. And so when those two become confused and they're trying to tell each other how they should act or what they should do and how they should live their life, then that's the body raging at itself. That's the body at war with itself. And literally that's actually what's happening, I feel, in the world at a greater level. And if you think about what happens within the body, how that creates such a state of disease, then we only have to look around at the consciousness. And every cell has consciousness in our body. It has its own auric field, it has its own energy field, it has its own functioning. And when that becomes incoherent through its own energy pattern, through its own emotional vibration of anger, which is coming from our own cellular, our own brain consciousness, then that plays out in the body, and that's what literally creates this incoherent patterning within the body, which and disease. And when we look at the larger perspective of when we project that judgment on others about how they should be living or how they should be showing up, we can't protect that. We know what their purpose is. We know that what they're here to do. And it's so important to come from the perspective of living our greatest truth, not anybody else's truth, not what anybody else thinks, not what anybody else believes, but what you truly believe. What do you truly, if you were living your ultimate truth, what would that actually be for you? And I invite you to really explore that for yourself and to step into that greater feeling of love, that greater feeling of expansion. And it can be scary. It can be really terrifying. And we need sometimes a lot of courage when we're used to listening to that ego survival mind. Hey, Chris, lovely to have you on. When we're used to listening to that ego survival mind and having it control us. And like, I've done loads of work around this, and it's a continuing, ever unfolding process, because I've got loads of layers and masks around who I've believed that I needed to be, how I believed that I needed to show up in the world, how I needed to show up as a mum, as a intimate partner, as you know, coach, or within my business, like all of those things. And I'm constantly inviting myself to really evaluate, is that the truth of who I am? Is that my new truth? Because as I grow and evolve, all of those things start to shift and change at a greater level as well. And as we actually do that, you'll know immediately as to whether you're contracting or expanding simply by how you feel in your body. If you feel greater freedom, if you feel greater exhilaration, if you feel greater joy, greater excitement, greater abundance, greater prosperity, if you feel open in your heart center, if you feel more loving, if you feel more able to not only bring greater self-compassion, but compassion to others, then you know that you're in expansion, not contracting. You know that you're operating from love, not from fear. And it can change in a heartbeat. It only takes a second of somebody reacting to us, or somebody in a bad mood, or, you know, an event or a circumstance happening that shocks us or awakens us at a new level. Good morning, Helen. Great to have you on, honey. That, you know, can throw us off track, and we contract in that moment. And that's where, like, when we notice that contraction, when we notice, hey, I'm not expanding in this moment, I'm not bringing love, how could I bring greater love to this situation? How would love respond, and what would love do? So I truly hope that serves you guys in some way, shape, or form today, in just sitting with, where do I contract most in my life? What area of life am I currently contracting in? Where do I feel the most fear or worry or concern or discouragement or disappointment? Where do I feel overwhelmed? Is it with time? Do I feel like I've got too much to do? Do I feel like I never get to the end of the to-do list? Do I feel like I'm not enough in my partnership or my relationship, or relationship with others, be it family or loved ones? And really explore, where am I currently contracting, and how could I bring a greater level of love, firstly to myself, because it has to come firstly from ourselves. We cannot do that for other until we've done that for ourselves. And often, you know, we've been conditioned very heavily, I feel, in society, and probably from our birth families as well, of, you know, we're not loving unless we're giving to other, or other first. And I really honestly say the opposite. We have to fill our own bucket first. And most people go, oh no, but that's selfish. And that's, you can feel the instant contraction around that. Anytime you contract, no, it is false evidence appearing real. So we're caught in the illusion of our ego survival mind, through the old beliefs, through the old conditioning, through the old patterns of who we've believed that we've needed to be, or how we've needed to show up. And you contracting in that moment, if it feels like rubbish, that is your own internal guidance system saying, hey, you're a little off track here. Hey, there's something going on. And we've all got our own unique guidance system. It is our emotions letting us know there is a false belief here. There is something that I'm looking at in a way that my higher self, or my larger self, or love, would look at this situation differently, or look at myself differently, or look at the other. And what is it that I could bring? And often, you know, hurt people. And when we feel that we're wrong, or that we're bad, or that we've acted in an unkind way, often we will, you know, do further damage to ourselves, instead of bringing love and compassion and exploring, why did I do that? What was it that I was trying to protect? Or what was it that I was feeling reactive to? Because often it's our inner child jumps in and runs the show very, very quickly. And that's our subconscious mind. It's our autopilot mind, and it reacts 5 seconds faster than what we can actually consciously think. So anytime you are starting to react, when we breathe deeply, 5 breaths allows the conscious mind to catch up and to ask ourselves a new question before we're in the verbalization or the explosion or the emotion. Sometimes we'll be thinking it, which is just as damaging as blurting something out that was unkind, or didn't actually want to say, or that, you know, we've just shared in a moment of reactivity. And I used to live my life that way, and often it was an implosion. I would swallow my words down, I would suppress it, I would bring it back in. Whereas now I get the opportunity to explore. A lot of the time, some still react in the moment. Hey Kerry, great to have you on. Hey Tanya, lovely to have you on as well. Sometimes I may react in the moment. However, like, I'll bring consciousness to it as soon as I can, and just increasing our level of self-awareness. And again, it's like, if you're reacting but you catch yourself, that is a win. Celebrate that, because that's bringing greater consciousness to that as well. And the more that we can bring love and compassion and go, wow, I felt like I was unkind, or I didn't like about myself, what's really going on for me right now, what do I actually need, what does my inner child need, and we bring greater love and compassion, we can restabilize and reground and recenter ourselves in love first, and then go and have a greater conversation with somebody about that as well, which means that we're coming from that place of love and compassion. So have an amazing rest of your day, guys. How are you expanding? How are you creating from that true place of love and envisaging what it is that you truly wish to create, and allowing yourself to expand in love rather than contracting in fear? So have an amazing day, and as always, if this has way, shape or form, please like, love or share it with somebody that you know could also help. Have a great day. Bye.